Last week at Gamescom, I got to try the Monster Hunter Wilds demo, and I was thinking of how to do this video. And I always start my videos with a lot of energy, and we get excited about things. And the more I reflected about my time at Gamescom, the week, everything that happened to me, the demo, playing it, I couldn't help but feel like a little emotional. And it was something I wanted to be just straight with all of you. You know, not try to be overly hype about it, but just share genuinely, like as a friend to another, what this experience was like for me. From the demo, from meeting the community, from being a part of this whole reveal, because Monster Hunter Wilds is really changing. It's a very different experience for me than, say, Rise and Sunbreak, which came out when I was just getting into the franchise. And if you're here to find any new footage for Monster Hunter Wilds, I'm sorry to say, I just did not have the capabilities or access to record my own footage. But luckily, Rurikon and RX Gaming channel were able to agree to let me use their footage. So I'll be using their footage throughout this video. So this will literally not have any exclusive footage, anything special other than my own impressions, which to me is special. Maybe for you it's not, but I just wanted to preface this video. I played the demo. I played the Switch X to the best of my ability. I only had a 30-minute gaming session. You can only extract so much from one hunt with a new game, but this video is about more than my play session with the Monster Hunter Wilds demo. I want to share with you my impressions of the third trailer, everything leading up to Gamescom, because I just had probably one of the best weeks of my life last week, and I'm just reeling in from it. I'm still a little jet lagged, so pardon that. So just taking you back, context, I booked my trip to Gamescom in January of this year. So 8 months ago, I decided this year I'm going to Gamescom. Before I even knew Monster Hunter Wilds was going to be there, I decided to go there for the sake of my business. I'm an entrepreneur in the gaming industry that does conferences. And then Monster Hunter Wilds gets announced, and the first playable demo is going to happen at Gamescom. I was like, oh my God, the timing is amazing. And to make it even better, my birthday fell in last week, right on Wednesday, the first day Gamescom opened, which means the first day I can play Monster Hunter Wilds demo on my birthday. I get into Germany. I'm doing my business, my meetings, Monday, Tuesday. Then it's the opening night ceremonies of Gamescom, and that's where we get our third trailer. And I'm just blown away by everything we're seeing. This trailer, the trailers that they have been releasing have been increasing in quality. You can go back and see my impressions of the first trailer. I wasn't very impressed. I was quite skeptical. And by the third trailer, I'm just like, okay, cool monster, everything I'm cool. And now that I've played the demo, I'm just sold. I really wanted to make a joke of a thumbnail of, here's why I'm not buying Monster Hunter Wilds, whatever, throwback to my Rise demo playthrough, but I just can't. I can't, even as satire, I can't do it. So now I'm all hyped because I see trailer 3. I'm like, okay, tomorrow, it's my birthday. We're going to the show floor and we're going to play Wilds. So I get to Gamescom. It's my first time seeing this. I walk in. I've been to E3. I've been to PAX. I've been to GDC. I've been through all the gaming shows in North America. And I kid you not, none of those even compare to the magnitude that is Gamescom. I walked in there, and the day I walked in, it was only trade visitors, which means it wasn't open to consumers yet. And it was still quite busy. And it's so big. I cannot stress enough how big Gamescom is. It felt like a theme park for video games just propped up. E3 is across 2 halls, 2 massive halls. Gamescom is across 11, just to give you a sense of how massive it is. So Gamescom is basically 5 E3s, roughly. I don't know about square footage and stuff. And when I walked in, I was so stimulated. My senses were I could actually feel my brain processing everything because it was just wild. So anyways, it's day 1. I'm I had meetings I had to go to, but I got there a little early. I'm the first thing I gotta do, I gotta go see the Capcom booth. I gotta see the Monster Hunter Wilds. So I'm running, not realizing Gamescom is spread across 11 halls. And luckily, the hall I finally found, it's right, you look right down the center row, and it's Monster Hunter Wilds at the far end. You can't miss it once you finally see the hall. So I'm walking through, just getting blasted by amazing game displays and everything. And I'm just looking at everything. I know I don't have the time to play anything because I got a meeting in 10-15 minutes. And just look at it, I'm just feeling so much because it's the first time I go to a trade show as a Monster Hunter fan. And what's wild is I went to E3 when World was there, it was showcased. I remember seeing the photo op and everything for Monster Hunter World. I remember being like, that's a weird dinosaur game. Why is it like so big? And I just did not register at all. And I remember I went to PAX once and they had the caravan from Monster Hunter 4U, which I'm like, why are these people sitting around with their 3DSs? Like, this caravan thing is such a weird setup. What a bunch of weirdos. This was my moment. This was my fan moment to being like, oh, and there was a lineup of people. I'm just walking through and I'm like, these are my people. This is the community. And I was just feeling like a sense of belonging, even though I didn't know anybody there. And I don't think anybody knew me. But anyways, then I realized I was late for my meeting and that Gamescom was a massive. So I'm like dashing, like, oh my God, how far are the like business lounges? It took me 20 minutes to get to my meeting. So I was late because of Monster Hunter. I came back later in the day to try to, like, between my meetings where I realized the mistake. I'm like, why did I book so many meetings on this day? Business meetings. I should have dedicated it to go play Monster Hunter Wilds. So I go back during like a 2-hour break. I see Rurikon right there in the middle of the booth. Of course, you can tell by his hat. And his back is to me. So I'm like, oh, I can do that meme where I can like sneak up on him. He picked up on me right away. He's like, hey, Jay. And he just greets me with like a big smile. And I'm like giving him a big hug. And he was there with 2 other hunters, which I did not know at the time, Peppo. And oh boy, I didn't write his name properly, did I? Shinkrai, who I've learned is like an OG Lance main. Like this guy has played Lance like his whole life and has stood by his Lance. So like props to Shinkrai. So we're all saying like, oh, hi, how are you? And I'm, my badge says I'm Jason. So I introduced myself as Jason and they're like, oh, I'm Peppo, I'm Shinkrai. I'm like, cool, let's add each other on YouTube and stuff. And I don't think they knew I was a YouTuber because I was like, what do you guys do? And they're explaining it. And then finally they're like, who are you? I'm like, oh, you probably know me as Hey Jay. And they go, oh, you're Hey Jay. Like they didn't even recognize me. Probably because I was like wearing a I was in like business mode. So the whole like Clark Kent Superman thing where people are like, how do people not know Superman is Clark Kent? He just wears glasses. I guess it works. You just dress up a little and people can't recognize you anymore. So I had so much good time. We were just like a bunch of strangers. I've never met these guys in person. We're just like nerding out. They've all played Wilds at this point. I haven't played anything. I've just seen the trailer. So I'm just talking about the trailer. We're nerding out and it's just so cool to just hang out there. And I'm kind of like waiting in line. And then the Eric's boys show up. I've never met them. I didn't know them either. So Rurikon introduces me to them. They're great. We're just having a good time laughing, talking about Monster Hunter, bonding over this game that we've all played. And I decided to like, okay, let's try to wait in line, see if I can go. Unfortunately, it was my birthday, so I had to go to a birthday dinner. So I couldn't stay in line because it wasn't moving fast enough. I was like, I can't play Wilds on my birthday. Luckily, community manager Jonah was there. He's like, Jay, I got you. Come back tomorrow. I'll give you a token so that like between your meetings, I can hop you on a demo unit and you can play. I was like, oh, thank you so much. So fast forward to the next day, I get my my moment to actually play the demo. There were 2 setups. You could either play the single player or the multiplayer. I learned in hindsight the multiplayer had more monsters to hunt. I should have went there, but I decided to go the single player because I usually play the Monster Hunter single player more, and I do multiplayer more for the grind. So I go there and the demo is very cutscene heavy. I was actually a little annoyed at how much of, I think I was there for 30 minutes for the demo and 15 minutes was probably cutscenes. Now I could have skipped it and went to the gameplay, but remember at this point, I haven't seen anything that's on the dev streams. I haven't seen anything going online. This was pretty much like my first shot at Wild since seeing the 3rd trailer. So I'm like, no, I want to see what it's about. And I can really see that they're pushing the narrative and the lore a lot heavier in Wilds, which is something that feels a little bit strange to me now that I've gone from, so World was my first one, which was the most narrative heavy. And then I went to Rise Sunbreak and then back to 3U, 4U, GU. So like at this point, the lore isn't that important to me anymore. So to go back to Wilds, I'm like, oh, right. They're pushing this franchise to be more lore heavy. So I'm like, okay, let's enjoy this. All in all, I'm in on the story. It just feels like a really good environment. I don't know how to explain it more than that. Just the introduction to the Forbidden Lands, like the village, which, what's it called? Kunafa, I think. Everything feels like a really worn in thing. I think the best way to describe it is like the first time I discovered Star Wars, it feels the original Star Wars, like episode 4 to 6, they made effort to make it feel like a lived-in universe, right? And Monster Hunter's always been this way, but it feels like that very similar feeling of I want to live in this world. I want to feel connected to this world. And Wilds delivers that in a way I feel none of the other Monster Hunter games really did that. My demo was basically, you get the narrative set up, and then you get to fight a Chotacabra, you get to pick your weapon, and you go out and you do whatever you want with it. So of course, I went out with the Switch Axe, but you did start with the Great Sword, so I decided to just swing it a little bit because I have been enjoying the Great Sword in GU, and it feels so much slower here. I don't know enough about Greatsword to know if it's actually slower in like Wilds and World than GU, but GU I think I just got like used to the speed of Valor, and just a few swings I'm like, no, we're going back to Switch Axe. And I haven't properly played Switch Axe since Rise Sunbreak, and it felt like home. Like I got so emotional swinging the Switch Axe because it feels very much like the World Switch Axe, just with a little bit of finesse to it. And it felt so good. Like I was grinning the whole time I was playing. There was no one around me that knew me and I didn't know them, but I was like a kid in a toy store, just freaking like reliving my first days in World and smiling as I'm slashing. I'm like, oh, like I noticed the sword. Again, I'm not a pro that can tell you the guides of like, here are the minutiae differences of the Switch Axe, but I can tell you that the sword mode felt more mobile. You're still like walking slow, but there's more swings and maneuverability to it in a way that it doesn't feel as stiff as what it did in World. The axe is just as satisfying. And the focus strike is the one thing that I think I had the most trouble understanding watching the trailer and the streams. And when I played it, it's the moment I went, oh, this is what it is. So when I saw it, I always thought it was kind of like Breath of the Wild, where when you like slow down time when you're like shooting a bow, that you can like kind of take the time to aim and do stuff. But it's not like that at all. For me, what I've come to understand is focus mode basically reveals which parts of the monster are getting close to breaking. So to me, it's an added level of information given to the player, just like World and Rise provided numbers to your hits so you knew how much damage you're doing. Now you can actually see how much wear you're doing to the monster part. So, we don't usually know how close we are to snapping a tail off or to breaking a wing or something. Now with focus mode, we can do that. Now from watching some of the dev streams, I think when you're in focus mode, you unlock special like specific moves. That I didn't pick up on my demo. I didn't feel that or discover. Again, I only did one hunt, so take that as you will. What I am super surprised about, if you go back and watch my first impression of the Switch Axe, when I saw the counter in the trailer, I was like, oh, not a counter. Because in Sunbreak, Switch Axe gets a counter, and I hated it. I did not use it. I don't play Switch Axe to counter things. If I wanted that, I would pick another weapon. And so I tried using it in Sunbreak a few times, and I pulled it off maybe one or two times, which is okay, but it didn't feel good enough for me to want to use it a lot. So this time I tried it, and it felt really good. I was like, whoa, I really love countering, because you're basically, switching and swaxing, and then you see the attack coming, and it's just such a natural flow where you're just like, I forget the button combination, but you go into your like counter mode, and you can hold it. Like the window to hold your counter feels more generous than what it was in Sunbreak. And then you pull it off, and you just go like, shing, shing with your sword. It feels amazing. I actually love how they implement it, and I am now all about the counter because it just gives a nice kind of like a more aggressive flow to your playstyle. So when I'm playing Switch Axe, you're kind of moving around the monster in axe mode, and then when you have a time to breathe, you switch out to your sword and you unleash some damage. And then if he attacks, you usually have like a hop to correct. But now you can kind of maintain that intensity of move, damage. And then if you see a big attack coming, you're like, all right, defensive and then counter offensive with the counter. And then you can go right back into your flow, and then you can mount the monster, which the mounting part is another like adrenaline filled part. So, just as usual, you can go like stab with the knife. But then I'm like, oh, there's a button to like pull out your weapon. And I just whip out my axe, and I'm just like, bam, in the skull. And then you like go into sword mode, and you shove the sword into the skull, and you're just like, and then you like zero some discharge into it. It's freaking awesome. And I think there's elemental discharge too, so I do get my boom. So I don't know if it's the invasion, my invasion sensation where you like stick it to the monster and blow up inside it. If that's still in the game, I wasn't able to do it, but again, I only had one hunt, so I didn't have much time to get familiar with the controls. I did do it in the mounting finisher, which was really satisfying. But yeah, everything about the fight was fun. And yeah, Chotacabra was the one monster I really wanted to fight. He was like my cutest boy. I'm like, yeah, you lick that rock and I'm gonna just chop you up. So I had a lot of fun bullying Chotacabra. It was, I didn't try to kill him fast. I was really trying to get a sense of the whole fight, trying to figure out the weapons. And it's been so long since I played World. Like I was just like appreciating this really old familiar sensation. So there was that. I really like the fact that you can actually like sling from your slinger. You can just like grab items. That was really cool. You're just riding, you're just like, I want that, chew, I want that, chew. It's like Spider-Man. And the writing the secret feels way more, it's a subtle difference from a Palamute. But the Palamute, it feels like you're riding a dog. Like they did a great job at making it feel like you're riding a dog. With the secret, you're feeling more like you're riding a horse. And it might sound like, oh, it's a dog and a horse. What's the difference? But there's just something I personally find more rewarding about the mounting and riding animation of the secret when you're like actually riding it. Not when you're floating around with it, but just riding it just makes it feel more like a realistic hunter on a real, whereas when you're on a dog, you're just like, I'm on a big dog and I'm going very fast. It's speed. Some other notes I want to share is the health bar. I think that's quite controversial. At first I saw it, I really don't like it. And when I was playing the game, my eyes kept moving to the health bar because I'm just like, what's this big thing like squiggling and moving? And the more hits you take, the bigger the squiggles. So like your eye goes down and it changes to red. I'm like, oh my God, stop making me look at the health bar. I think, I could complain about it and say it's a stupid change, but I think as you play, you probably get used to it. I'm sure there's some research behind why they did this. Like there's probably something that says that it's better to attract the eye when you're in trouble and to remind you to heal or something. But again, a weird change I didn't realize or thought was really needed. Another thing, this is some criticism towards a first demo. So really take this with a grain of salt. I don't think it's any reflection of the game and the final product because it could be a year away. But the audio, I was using a PlayStation headset that was set up with the demo. On the show floor, I could barely hear anything. Like I was fully up on the volume. And the audio wasn't great, which was weird because when I was watching all of the weapon showcases, the sound effects really stood out to me as like, oh, that sounds crisp. That sounds really like, it was noticeably like really high quality. And I didn't get that in the demo because my sound was bad because there was so much noise happening around me. The other thing was the graphics. I remember people seeing all of the trailers and everything and being like, oh my God, is my computer going to be able to run this? The demo makes me believe that yes, like it did not feel like a huge technical marvel what I was looking at. There was like plenty of clipping and weird fuzziness to some of the graphics. It's nothing where I'm like, oh, this is a garbage game. It just looks like a game that hasn't gone through all of its final polish, and it's completely fine. It did not take away from the game, but by no means did I feel the demo lined up with what we're seeing with like those polished cutscenes that we've seen through the trailers and then everything put out on the Capcom channel. So that's pretty much my impression of the entire demo. I wish I could play it again. I wish I could try all the different weapons, especially now that I'm dabbling so much in GU's weapon collection. Also, all this makes me want to go back. Once I'm done my Omni Hunter pledge in GU, I probably need to go back to World and do an Omni Hunter pledge there because the weapons, like that's my home. That's where I started and they do feel different. And I love how the World and Wild's weapons feel. They have a certain weight to them that just I have not seen in any of the other games. It's just a really different feeling. Other minor things too, love the armor that we're getting so far, love the cat, the Palico. There's a design, I think the Eric's guys, when they were doing their stream, they picked like this weird black cat that just has like so much personality. I picked the same cat by pure coincidence. I love everything about it. When it comes to the third trailer and what they revealed, so we finally, we got a new monster. We got Lalabarina, which it's a spider. I'm just going to want to kill it fast. I don't love spiders. I just want to kill them fast, but cool to see. Honestly, what I find cooler than Lalabarina is the Scarlet Forest. I just think as a locale, a red forest, that's creative. That's cool. Why is there this gross spider here? Let's get rid of that. And then we got to actually get a proper glimpse and a name to Ray Dow, which I kind of wish I could have fought him. I'm really excited. I think he's really cool. Like, he doesn't really stand out as anything crazy unique. He just looks like another wyvern, but he looks cool. I want to fight him. And then the new NPC we got introduced to is Olivia. And I have to say, Olivia really stood out to me in the demo. Like, I instantly fell for Olivia. Out of all the NPCs, she just stood out to me. I'm like, oh my God, she's cool. Oh, she's charming. Oh, like, this is the NPC I want to hang out with. So Olivia, straight to my heart. That's my like favorite character so far. Although the other two didn't get too much screen time in the demo, although I guess they all got the same one. Yeah, Olivia just hit different. She really kind of just, I guess Olivia's my waifu material. What can I say? So from this point on, you know, what do I feel? What do I do? What do we do? I don't know, because we don't know what the next demo is, what's going to happen. I would be completely happy not playing another demo or seeing another clip of this game. I'm sold. I would buy the Ultimate Digital Deluxe whatever edition right now, because Capcom is delivering on a superior experience from what I can tell from my home base of World. It's more of what I love and more. And it seems to even bring in more of the things that World was missing that I'm now realizing from playing the old games. Simple things like, oh, so tasty. They're bringing that mini game back. I didn't get to try it or see how it is. But so all this to say, it's a great time to be a Monster Hunter fan. And as a content creator, I just sometimes feel I don't do this game justice because I'm not an expert at the game. I'm not a mentor that can teach you like Rurikon or Gaijin Hunter or like Peppo or all these other like really good players. I am a content creator for the average hunter. And even though I've been playing for 3 years and I've collected so much like experience through these games, I really don't feel like I deserve a platform to talk about this game because it doesn't do justice to the game's mechanics, to the depth of this game and what it has to offer. I feel I cover it so surface level, but you all come here and embrace it and share it with me. And you know, I don't know, it just feels cool. Like, again, I don't want to get too emotional about it, but I'm just very thankful to be part of this community. I don't think there's any other like it. And to experience Wilds launch together is something that really is transcending my original Monster Hunter experience with World. And I was trying to recapture like a similar kind of experience with 3, 4U, all that. Those were all different great experiences, but this launch of Wilds is like, I feel the natural next evolution of what I was feeling being accepted into this community. So thank you for accepting me. Thank you for giving me a platform to talk about this. Without all of your help, I would have never have gotten the chance to play the Wilds demo at Gamescom for my birthday. So I'm going to take it as a birthday gift. So thank you all for that. And I will see you on the next video. I will not be covering Wilds heavily on this channel. I will be sharing my thoughts on major developments and updates. But I usually don't like to be kind of the groundbreaking news channel for something, especially not Monster Hunter Wilds, because I got a pledge to finish. I got to finish my Omni Hunter pledge in GU, and I got to finish all the quests in Sunbreak. So we got some work to do before Wilds comes out. So I'll see you on the next stream or on the next video. And until next time, keep it classy. One more thing, I forgot to show off my goodies. So after you play the demo, they give you this like really nice bag. I don't know if you can see it. It says Monster Hunter Wilds on it. And there was a few goodies in it. The one I was the most excited for is this plastic cup, which also says Monster Hunter Wilds. I've never gotten a cup at a show that had nothing to do with drinking. So this is now my drinking cup. And I was a little disappointed with what they gave. I love when demos give out pins. We did not get pins. We got a lot of paper. So hey, good for the environment. It came with these 2 cards. One is, I believe, a sticker sheet. This feels like a sticker or something. And on here it says Happy Hunting, and you get 3 monster icons, including Chotacabra, the big worm, and then the big husky boy. Clearly, I don't know those names. And then you get like what looks like almost like a postcard that just says Monster Hunter Wilds with the hunter on the secret. And there was one other thing. It was a poster of the Monster Hunter Wilds kind of splash key art. It was rolled up. I didn't bring it home with me because there was no way I could have brought that back to Canada on the plane and in my suitcase without crushing the whole thing. So I pretty much kept what I knew I could bring back intact. And it was nice. They were giving that out to all of the players who played the demo. So it's a nice touch. They really didn't have to do anything. This is all additional cost for Capcom, but it's a nice touch to recognize the fans. So I'm going to really enjoy this little cup and just the swag that they gave. But I really wish they gave out a pin. So Capcom, if you see this next time, please, please, please make the pin so that I can add it to my pin wall. All right, that's really it, everyone. I'll see you next time. Keep it classy.